Well, this is the anime I've been waiting for a while without even knowing it. So I just watched episode 1 of Akudama Drive, which, for those unfamiliar, is a new anime being written by Kazutaka Kodaka, the basically head writer for the Danganronpa series. He left Spike Chunsoft with a few other people who worked on Danganronpa and similar games like Zero Escape to start a new company called Tokyo Games. And they've put out a few things so far, but I might discuss them in detail later, but they haven't been too impressive, really. It seems like they were starting pretty small, making some stuff that could intentionally appeal to a broader audience. So, I've been waiting for them to get some sort of return to form, and this definitely seems like it's that. If he's not going to work on Danganronpa anymore, then I'm more than happy to see what kind of cool stuff he could come up with, and this anime, even just after one episode, I can tell is like a perfect next step for his style and stuff. It also has the character designer from Danganronpa as well. I don't know how much I should summarize, really. I would assume you've seen it. You basically go watch it, basically, if you're a fan of Danganronpa especially. I think this show will definitely be very appealing to you, even though it is a different thing. The way the episode ends, spoilers, definitely has Danganronpa vibes and sort of leads into this, some kind of death game going on. Or, they get bracelets that'll explode if they don't follow rules type of thing, Haven't seen that one before, of course. It's not like Zero Escape also did that, even though that's totally separate. I was pleasantly surprised to see that sort of thing, I guess, but it's definitely not going to be a death game type of thing. It's probably much more like now the characters are going to be forced to work for somebody, and we're going to get a lot of episodes, each with probably them going after different Akudamas that need to be executed or taken away or joined into whatever thing's controlling them right now, or controlling them by the end of the episode. I guess I skipped the summary though, but basic summary, this episode just introduces the world and the characters. All the characters don't even have names. They're just named off of their talent, I guess. Go with that path with Danganronpa again. There's Doctor, there's Hoodlum, Brawler, I think, and even the main girl character is just named Ordinary Person. She doesn't even have a name. But she eventually lies about having a Akudama trait, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't go into too much detail. I had to look up a translation. Akudama translates to villain or criminal, basically. So it's in the subtitles for this, why not just say criminal? Calling it Akudama and then not explaining to English viewers. That's a term that probably is common in Japanese to an extent. Seems a little weird. I was confused for most of the episode when they kept saying Akudama because I thought it was maybe an organization or something, but I think it's just a general term for criminals. So this is just a world where criminals are everywhere, I guess. What absolutely stands out to me in this is the animation and art direction. I'm a huge fan of the Danganronpa games, of course, obviously. But the Danganronpa animes, those never appealed to me too much. I think the studio that did those, Akudama Drive, is being done by Studio Parrot. I will look up who did the Danganronpa ones. Studio Lurch did the Danganronpa anime. And I think they really kind of half-assed the style. As rude as that sounds, I think they're yeah, we got to make it look like the cool, distinct comic booky style that's in the game, but also we don't really have to. So the animation in the Danganronpa animes is really lacking. In the Danganronpa 3 animes, they had an interesting art direction decision to have both sides of that story look different, but it still didn't match up to the game. Akudama Drive, on the other hand, absolutely matches up to the sort of thing you would see in a Danganronpa game, or I guess just more in general now, the kind of thing that Kodaka loves to make visually. The character designs are really strong. The colors, particularly, really got me. I'm not one to watch a lot of action anime. In fact, if this qualifies, right here on anime list, it says genres action sci-fi. So this might actually be the first pure action anime I've ever even watched, despite having had watched almost 80 animes now. It takes something like this to invest me, the really strong, unique style of it, and I just interrupted myself saying, the color scheme is so cool. It's a lot of cool colors and a lot of blues and purples, especially the fight scene at the very end of this episode. That got me hooked. I got my blood pumping. Then from that moment, I knew that this was something awesome. There's some really good cinematography, storyboard work. Realistically, the animation, it's not super strong, but the style is really, really there, and that makes it strong. When I say animation isn't strong, I just mean the fluidity of the movements and stuff. It is I've seen better, but also it's a TV anime type thing. We sort of just have to hope that it won't get worse, because something that happens with anime a lot, maybe it doesn't happen too much anymore. It's pretty common when animes are put on TV, they're a little rushed, so when they're put onto Blu-ray, they refine the animation a bit. So hopefully this won't be the case for this show. Hopefully the quality that we see in this first episode stays consistent for the rest of the series. Another thing I really appreciate about this show is how little direct world building there is. That's something that really gets me about stuff that tries to establish its own universe. Like, they spend too much time explaining things about the universe. This episode, maybe I definitely want to learn more about the world. So like after this episode, if they spend a little more time explaining some things, that I would be okay with that. But to get you hooked on a show, I don't want to sit here and have like a narrator explain to me what world I'm watching. I just want to experience it and try to interpret it for myself, and this show absolutely does that. Especially even just the fact that the characters don't have names almost bleeds into that, where it's like they felt that showing you everything is more important than even explaining the characters' names, and they just make it all really cool. Again, there's really nice comic booky transitions and character title card introductions. It's so cool. I'm so happy to see this sort of style in an animation. It almost makes me wish that this was a game. Almost like I feel like the way it's action packed and stuff, it probably would have worked as a game, but maybe it's the kind of thing where like there's just so much story to it or something that they felt an anime was the best way to take it. From the Danganronpa games, Kodaka definitely has a good understanding of what should be animated and what should be a video game. Even if Danganronpa is just a visual novel and it's not really a video game, whatever, not important. I kind of don't have any really direct complaints. Like, this definitely exceeded my expectations. I didn't really know what to expect, but this was very, very cool, and I really liked it, and I just hope that it can keep the momentum that it had from this episode. Like, I hope we always get an action-packed climax each episode or something. Like, give us really unique scenarios, give us new villain characters that they have to chase after or something consistently. I hope it doesn't slow down, really. The characters are a lot of fun, even though you don't see too much of them. I think definitely the courier character kind of get very sidelined. Like, I can't really pull much from their characters other than like a sort of generic stereotype that they follow at the moment. I guess the hacker character too, he didn't get too much focus. And the hoodlum character didn't get... Nobody really got much character development, but the hoodlum character right off the bat was just hilarious. He's like, very obviously, they're just goofy comic relief character who wants nothing to do with this, but also wants everything to do with it. He was very funny, even though he was barely there. He was like a total punching bag. The main girl, she's a little generic so far. She likes cats. That's kind of her only thing right now. I think she'll develop more for sure, but she might also develop in the same sort of way that some of the Danganronpa protagonists develop, where it's just kind of an obvious transition from like sort of normal to like really heroic. Hopefully they get a little more interesting with her. Saying heroic there made me remember another point, that just in general, the concept of this show focusing on villains is very cool. And I hope it doesn't necessarily take a transition where they become good guys by the end or anything like that. I hope it stays as dark as it is. Even though I guess it's not that dark, but it's a dark scenario to focus on bad guys in general. By the very end, they introduce the Cutthroat character, who on this page I'm looking at, it says he's called the Murderer. So I don't know which name they go with, probably depends on the translations or something. He's definitely like the Nagito Komade character. The way, there's just his voice. He's like a cool trickster boy. I wonder what they'll do with him, but it definitely seems like the same sort of beat. Oh, and the doctor character too, I didn't mention her, but she is very cool. Like that's all we'll say about that. It was jarring to me when she was first introduced. She was just like directly murdering people, and there was like some blood, and I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be like a mature show, and I'm glad to see that. Again, I can't. Oh no, I've seen some pretty gory animes, I guess. It's been a while since I've seen an anime that had such a strong, direct, older teens, adult sort of audience focus. There's like some beheadings towards the end of the episode too. I was like shocked to see that, but it's awesome. They all frame it and make it cool as heck, as unhinged as that may sound. So yeah, I'm just very excited to see where this goes. I don't have many predictions aside from like what I was saying before. I anticipate and hope that it kind of turns into a Monster of the Week style thing where all these characters are forced to go encounter other interesting one-off like villains and stuff, but we'll have to see. Again, I just hope it doesn't slow down in any way. Keep the really action-packed momentum that this episode had. We can slow down a bit for some world-building stuff, but I would like there to be more consistent action, because the action that was on display here, especially the way it was art directed, is just so cool, and I'm sure it could get cooler. I forgot to mention the music. It's awesome. It's surprisingly not by the composer from Danganronpa. It sounds a lot like his style, this sort of like techno-y dubstep style music. It's awesome. Like, I hope we get a soundtrack release for this, which I'm sure we will at some point. So again, if you're a fan of Danganronpa, you should seek this out. If you're a fan of sci-fi in general, you're looking for an anime that has a cool art style. Even, if you're new to anime, I feel like from what this establishes, it's something that you definitely has some mass appeal. So far, it's just some very cool, stylish action with interesting characters that I hope can get a bit more depth and hopefully don't repeat too many beats from Kodaka's previous works. Funimation owns this series, so you can check it out on their website. You have to be a premium member to watch brand new episodes, but after a week, the episodes become available for free. So if you're interested in checking this series out, please do. And again, if you're a fan of Danganronpa, I think you'll get something out of this for sure. This is just one episode, of course, but it's one of those episodes where I felt like it was longer than it actually was because I was so interested. If you like this rambling anime hour video, as I'll call it, let me know in the comments and I will certainly do more because I watch a lot of anime and need reasons to talk about them. I will hopefully keep up with this show each week and put out similar videos to this as the episodes come out so we can see the evolution of my opinions and I can continue to promote it because I'm sure there's a lot of fans of Kodaka's work, probably like only the really hardcore fans that probably pay attention to the fact that this show even came out. But it's definitely a standout from the season so far, even though I don't know what else is really going on this season. I'm watching Higurashi When They Cry as well. That's a very different side of the spectrum from this show, I guess. This show is probably more my speed than that one is, even though I like Higurashi as well, and I watched the original quite some time ago. But that's a topic for another video, because maybe I'll start doing videos about Higurashi as well if people get into this. I don't know. So yeah, let me know if you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you enjoyed this series, if you're checking it out, and please check it out if you think it's something you'd like. Thanks for watching, and super special thanks to my Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to know when I post a new video. Be sure to stay tuned for more new videos and live streams. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok to get frequent updates and video clips. And consider supporting me on Patreon for just $2 a month to get some behind-the-scenes content, like scripts and review notes, and even early videos. Once we get about 20 Patreon supporters, I'll start a Discord server for us to chat.